Thank you for being a part of the Crown Refs officiating community.
Hi, this is Pedro Rodrigues from Fitchburg, Massachusetts. Thank you for listening to Game Notes on the Crown Refs podcast. Serve the game.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, coming at you virtually live from Boston, Massachusetts in the TD Bank North Garden Center. Pedro, is that it?
Yeah, that's
something like that. Yeah. North, something like that. I think the Celtics are actually shooting around right now, about to take a loss. But I'm here with Pedro Rodrigues. How are you, sir?
I think that's fair. I'm good, man. I mean, your Knicks are on top finally after all the years of being bad, I should say. So I'll let you take that dig. It's okay.
I know we have a little New York Boston rivalry here. It's all in good fun.
Yes.
But thanks for joining us. How's everything going with you?
Great, man. Nice sunny day here in Boston finally. Hopefully turn for the spring.
Very nice. So I just wanted to let the dedicated audience of basketball officials know about you, where you're from, how long you've been refereeing, a little bit about your referee journey, and then how you connected with Crown Refs with the IPR.
Yeah, no, I've been roughing for 9 years. Past 3 or 4 years, I've been moved up to varsity, doing prep schools as well. I think as I kind of took that leap or that advancement into doing varsity games, I basically caught a bug and just looking any way, which way possible to get better. And someone put me on to Crown Refs about a year or two ago, and as soon as I got one episode, I just said, hey, I got to start this from the beginning, and started doing that. And I mean, all the content's great. There's something to be learned in every episode. And I honestly can go back and listen to several others and still pick up something I didn't pick up the first time. So it's great. And it's been part of my pregame, going to my games, throwing on some of the, your best of, 2019, best of 2020 pods, and just putting that in the background and then just consuming as I go and getting different mindset, getting me ready. And yeah, it's been great.
You're really tapped into it, and I could tell in our conversations off the record. It's just nice because I'm able to get kind of feedback from you. I'm giving you feedback here, but the way you able to digest the content and then give me insights on it, it's very helpful to when I go and produce new content. So hopefully it connects with more and more people. Now, this is your second IPR report, so I want to thank you for that. You're the first ref to go back that following season. So you did one last April 2020, and then another one, and then you call me up, you're like, I gotta have another one. So how was your experience from the first one and the developments you made to where you're at now and beyond?
That's great, man. I think for me, every so often I'll go back and listen to that IPR again and making sure that am I doing some of the same things that I was doing then, and it helps as a wake up. All right, yeah, I'm still doing that. I need to clean that up, but even, watching the game film, learning how getting that kind of format of how you do the game notes, going back, and now when I do my own game notes, like applying some of the same kind of like logic and thinking. And it's great to even go back to pods. And I think you have one with Al Bautista, which is about watching film. And right. I know the Wonderlic one is another one that, is a good pod to go back to listen to regarding watching game film, and just, using that as a kind of a guideline of how I should be watching film and what I'm looking for. And I think even your Al Bautista one, you have actually like 20 bullets or something like that about
21 questions.
Yeah. So yeah, I pulled that up and read that as I'm watching film to see, how I'm better at watching my film, not just, sitting there watching it and hit a rewind button here and there, but like trying to really focus, really digest the game.
Just a fun fact about that episode. It was originally 20 questions, but I thought of the 50 Cent song, 21 questions. I said, let's bump it to 21.
Yeah, I mean, makes sense.
Give you a little insight behind the episode. That's great. I'm happy to help. I want to just kind of scroll through your report. Obviously, your strengths are your passion for the craft. That's a pillar of strength that not everybody has. I'm trying to pump positivity and love into this profession, but not everybody loves it, you know? So I'm trying to inspire others. I don't need to inspire you. You're already inspired. So that's a great thing. Definitely I could see your run is getting smoother. I think you're a little bit more comfortable out there moving on the court. It was a little choppy back the first one we did in 2020. And I definitely saw an improvement in your play calling. The main thing as we move to areas of improvement, and that's why we're here, is I just think you need to develop a little bit more confidence, and that's just going to come with reading the book more, doing more games, getting more reps, failing more, making more incorrect calls, you know, and these mistakes, they lead to growth and they lead to learnings. So just confidence, and that's just going to come with time, you know, and remember, just trying to slow everything down, patient whistle, pain tolerance, letting the play, prolonging the play as long as you can until we have to stop the game. You know, the other day someone was like, I think they were asking about, or let us play. They said, let us play. I said, yes, we're going to let you play as long as we can. And we're just going to stop the game if something illegal happens. It's a funny way of looking at it though, but that is the goal. We want to let you guys play and as long as you want, but then we're going to just raise our hand and stop the game when something illegal happens, either a foul or a violation. But yeah, that's the point. You know? And the major thing is practicing your signals at the table. How often would you say is something that you do?
Pretty often. I mean, sometimes I wake up in the morning and I'm just like, just doing signals, just trying to think about it. And I've like put little cues in my head just to kind of remind me of when I'm doing them, you know, to you know, what's the kind of proper mechanic. Like, I know, especially you had mentioned on stopping the clock, you know, or even my 3-pointer, my hand's kind of out here. So I've kind of given.
Did you see how I edited that and I made your arm was diagonally out, but then that simple adjustment, but didn't that give you a visual to see that A looks much better than B?
Yeah, and that was another thing about the game notes. You've improved your craft there. You know what I mean? As far as returning it back to me, like now the pictures, the visuals, added to the game notes helps. You know, because I can't say, oh no, that's not right. You're showing me. You know, what I mean? This is an actual picture of what you're trying to explain to me. So I thought that was great. So and back to what I was saying as far as my cues, like. On the 3-pointer and even on stopping the clock, I've kind of just said to myself, you know, shoulder to ear, you know what I mean? So to remind myself to get this up higher, so closer to my ear, so I'm straighter up and not like this, or you know, somewhere in between, you know, just so little things like that that I'm teaching myself, trying to help myself get better in those areas.
So I think the one of the biggest ways I could be value during this time is to you simply just present. We're going to run through a whole list of signals. You present, and then I'll just kind of give you my feedback on it, what we can chop, and then what we can add to it to make it look stronger.
Okay.
All right.
Is my camera at a good enough angle? Or
camera's good. We'll work with it. It's not an issue. So yeah, we'll just start stopping the clock into your chop, and actually show me stop the clock, hand count into your chop. Hand looks clean. I want you to copy and paste that. I want to see the count, the 5-second count.
Oh, from the side. Okay.
Yeah, the virtual background, we lose it a little bit, but it's all right. But I want you to focus on snapping the hand outward. Like it's a snap. Your hand comes in, pop. It's like a whip, snapping it out. All right, looks pretty good. And then chop with the right hand. Good, perfect. So copy and paste that. That looked much better than the first game I broke down where your arm just drops. You know, it just looks more fluid, looks more natural, it's more athletic.
No, for sure. And I think after you did that Ryan's IPR, I think one of your first ones this season, I saw you talking to him about the snap, even on the point on the out of bounds. And I was just like, yeah, man, I don't like mine. And I just took that and ran with it. And ever since that pod, that's all I was doing was the whip of the finger.
Good. So let's get in. Show me the point then. Stop the clock out of bounds. Okay. Yeah. So when our hand goes up, we're bringing it kind of down to our shoulder. It's down and out. Down, out. All right. and then just focusing on the end. I've been doing some different type of physical training lately, and I've been focusing on end range motion, that very end of the move. It becomes the most difficult, but really trying to focus on getting stronger in the end range, similar to mechanics here. That end range, that final piece to it, it's got to presents the whole picture. It finishes it, so to speak. Finishes the play like a player would finish at the rim. Referees finish. Pointing, good. One signal at a time. I mean, that's not something we can practice. Just keep that guideline in mind. One hand at a time. Spacing out your signals, on layered plays where you have 2, 3, multiple signals. Let's say we have a wave off charge or a wave off charge. 1, 2, 3, point to the spot, right? But it should be spaced out, so we can appreciate each one. I see a lot of officials, their signals bleed into each other. And it's tough to differentiate, because it's too quick. Offensive foul. Crash. Boom. What do you got?
Yeah, this is what I've been working on. It's tough because I've been always a fan of the fist.
Yeah.
And you in the IPR would mention the back and then that way.
I would recommend all high school officials eliminating the punch signal too. I would imagine it's going to trickle down to the high school game. I would assume so. It would make sense for it, right? And if that's the case, then let's just be ahead of the game. And if that's not the case, you're still doing it the right way behind the head. That's always been the signal in the book. This is not a new signal. They've just eliminated what you're not supposed to do. So don't fall too in love with the punch. It might be an antiquated signal. For me, it's an antiquated signal. I don't have it anymore. We're going to miss it, but who cares?
Yeah.
Yes, it was fun punching the end line on a great charge. It was great. But it's time to move on and say bye to it. So let's look at your behind the head. That's strong. Remember, you got many options with the behind the head. We can stop the clock with the right fist and then point with the right hand, or we could just do that in reverse. We're stopping it with the right, and then we're pointing with the left. It's going to depend what side of the court you're on. If you feel like doing both, you may just have one way you do it, and that's comfortable and that works for you. That's great. I always like options just because I feel like we should present a different look based on where we are, based on where the players are. There might be a player in front of me. I might have to take a step to the side and present, so just being versatile and mixing it up, experiment, practice. When you do these rec games, this is where you go say, all right, I'm going to work on my other player control signal that's not ready yet, but now's a good time to get it ready during these games. This way, when I go do my high school playoff game, I'm good from the left and right side. And that's how I want to train all the refs I'm working with, is just to be fully versatile from the right side to the left side and just having an array of different options. We talked about the 3-point. Are you going to go up with the open hand or you do the 3 fingers?
Yeah, I've been doing the open hand since my last IPR. That's been.
Now I know
I caught myself on video a couple of times doing the 3.
The 3? Yeah, I used to do the 3.
On accident, but yeah, most of the time it's always the open hand.
I used to do the 3 for a long time, and then I just said, screw it. The open hand looks better, and I want to present what looks the best. So, but just, I know you spoke in the beginning about getting it straight up. It's not straight up. It's not diagonal. It's just a little bit outward. So don't fall in love. Don't be too stiff up here where it's like, it's not straight up. We're doing the stop the clock signal. That's a little bit more straight up than the 3-point attempt signal, which is a little bit more outward. And then see your 3-point make. Yeah. I always like, as I have my 3-point attempt up, as I go up, it's just like I reach for the sky. Just gives it a little bit more pop. Remember we talked about that end range. Got it here and then boop. And I've noticed myself, what looks better on film is the higher up it is, looks better. So the more I can get my arms straight, less crooked, it just looks bigger, and just keep it there a second too. This is another thing that I've noticed about myself is my 3-point make is very quick. It's like I'll go up here and then I'm back down. And sometimes you have to pause it to see if I even threw up a 3-point make, because it's just so quick. So take that with you. High up and hold it. High and hold. Couple cues for you. Numbers. This is where I think the biggest area of improvement is your presentation of your numbers, making it look more fluid and presenting more snap. So show me 33 white, hit.
33 white, hit.
Keep going.
Okay. 33 white, hit.
See how you like, I understand that we turn our palms and we kind of snap our palms outward, and it's that little lead up that gives it a nice transitional effect, but don't make it so obvious where you start here and it's like, it takes too long to get there. It's almost like rapid. Did you see how quick, like mine was a little bit quicker than yours? You're kind of just starting your, so basically what I'm saying is your lead up is a little bit too long. It's a little bit, so just put your hands up. It's like, pop them out. Your fingers should explode out of your hands.
Okay. So 33.
Yeah, a little better. And let's go a little bit wider. You're a little close. It should be shoulder width.
On my desk. Okay. 33.
Good. Yeah, and I like the way you popped your off arm out for the hit, and did that little tip that I gave you in the notes where you had your off arm just a little bit far out to the side. And it's almost like your right arm has to travel a great distance to hit it. So just bring it right to the center of your body and strike. And I saw that adjustment. It looks much cleaner. Good stuff. Hold.
33, hold.
It's too rapid. 33, hold it here. Hold. So grabbing the arm, then popping it out.
Okay. 33 white, hold.
Good, much better. And you're tall, you're big, so just focus on keeping it eye level, up by your shoulder, up by your head, up there. I see some people do a low hold. It looks weak to me. The bigger you present, the taller you present, the better it looks. And also using both hands. Left hold, right hold.
Okay.
Block signal.
No, that's tough to do in a chair.
Yeah, it's tough.
33 white, block.
I found a good tip for the block is when I stop the clock for a block, my off arm mirrors it. So my right hand's in the air, my left hand is coming to meet my right hand in the air. Once they're both up there, then it's a strike to the hips and let the arms come up a little bit. Hold that thought. Yeah, so just that bounce back effect from your block. So just so your fists don't die at your hips. Just creates that little effect. And push. Let me see your push.
33 white, push.
Push looks better.
Yeah, I like that a lot better. When you brought it up, I was like, yeah, that makes sense. I was down here more chest level.
Yes. It's funny. I used to do that too. I used to go to the table, white 33, and I would present like an underhand push. Just like, it was so weird. I didn't know what to do. I didn't look at the book at the time. I'm just out here freestyling, But I think this is a good cue. My hands start on my shoulders and they extend all the way out. And if you take a step with it, looks really, really good as well. And also you have a side push. I do that. I like the side push when a girl gets pushed out of bounds. I tend to just use that one. I think it's applicable for that play. Yeah. Yeah, so you're looking stronger already, but I thought it was important that we devote some time to this. Cool. All right, let's select some plays we want to look at. It feels really good to have video that's finally optimized. Thanks, Zoom. Thanks, Zoom. I didn't know that you had a optimize for video clip option that I've been missing this whole time. So it is my fault. Everything is your fault. How dare I try to blame Zoom? They figured this out way before me.
Right.
But it took me a while, but I'm happy that we figured out this video issue. Let's see. Let's take a look at it. No skipping on your end?
A little bit.
There is a little skipping on your end?
Yeah, it's more, yeah, if you're calling the skipping like a stutter.
Yeah, stutter.
It's not fluid, but
okay, well, I mean, it's fluid on my end, and it wasn't fluid on my end the last podcast, so that's probably a good thing.
Yeah, it's probably better that it's not on your end and better on mine.
All right, let's take a look at your first whistle of the game. It's always good to come out strong with the correct call, kind of sets the tone. It's definitely a confidence booster when your first call out the gate is right. Pick and roll action. Oh, that's bad defense. Moving forward. We don't need to show the amount of shots on an obvious shooting foul, though. I know that's the correct high school mechanic. Presentation looks sharper than last time. Now in New England, they've changed the rules to the sport. There's no nobody at the line on the first free throw, which is very interesting. No jump balls too, right?
Yeah, COVID guidelines, yep.
Now, are you allowed to touch the ball?
Yeah, I'm allowed to touch the ball.
Because in New Jersey, they're not allowed to touch the ball.
They just tell players to go do it?
The referees do not touch the ball. So imagine administering a free throw. He gets a pass from a teammate. They literally changed the sport, the rules. Pretty fascinating.
Yep.
Yeah, but just I think we can eliminate the number of shots. You had good hustle to the table. Your hit looked good, just minus the adjustment that we just made. So definitely a good start. So this play is exciting. It's a loaded play. We have a charge and a technical foul. Good call there. Okay. Now, it looks like you got a little angry on the tech.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying you were angry. You might have been feeling great at the time. But your body language showed it was like a little demonstrative, like, tech on you. So when we say tech should be emotionless, we don't want to show the player that we're like mad at them for getting a tech. It's like, oh, your technical foul? You just cursed at him? Okay, technical foul. No issues, no worries. Very low key, nonchalant, very businesslike. So what did the kid say?
It wasn't anything he said. He just slapped the ball after the play.
He slapped the ball?
He slapped the ball after the play. Like, after I called the charge, he was just like one of those, just aggressively slapped it. And I was just like, all right. Probably could have passed on it looking back.
Now, what if a player slaps the ball away? What is the correct ruling for that?
Usually it's a warning, delay of game, right?
Yeah, did you? Okay, I mean, now, did we call the charge on him?
Yes.
Okay, so I don't, then I may not have a problem with this. I like this then, I think. I mean, see, here's what we have to do as officials is determine, did he like slap the ball at you? Was this pretty much an FU to your call here? Take that. Looks like it. Yeah. So do you like it or no? Do you wish you had?
No, I mean, it was one of those, after on film, the smack didn't look that bad, looking on film, like, was it that bad? In the moment, I felt it was. So,
I mean, we try to have not as much tolerance for, high school kids, right? Versus like a college setting or moving up the ladder. you're going to give them less of a leash. I think you should tend to side with a delay of game moving forward on these type of plays.
Right.
If you're 1,000% that, he did it and you thought it was disrespectful, I don't have a problem with you giving a tech here. But I'm just saying in general, if a player slaps the ball away, let's lean towards delay game warning versus a tech.
Right.
But I understand why you called that one. But going back to, emotion and body demeanor and body language, you looked mad at him, and I don't want you to get mad. What were you feeling in these moments? This moment as you're walking up, as you give the tech?
I guess you could say I was a little over the edge, like not. Was there a little anger? Yeah, a little bit, but nothing that I felt was taking me out of the element of the game. Just that's what he did, and then of course, as you mentioned in the game notes, the coach was like, "Well, what is it? Like, what are you calling on it?" I kind of demonstrate my hand that, hey, I gave him the tech for slapping the ball afterwards, and then I think after again, he's still chirping at me because I mentioned something about his mask, and he's like, "Well, what's the technical for? Was it the mask or the hand slap?" And I was like, "Coach, I think I was pretty clear that it was the smack of the ball," and that was the end of our conversation. So,
what did you mention about the mask?
I think it was just at the moment. I just told him, "Hey, put up your mask," because that's obviously a big issue with COVID or what have you.
You told the coach to put up his mask?
No, the player.
Oh, the player? Oh,
yeah, it just happened to be the same guy. It was who it was. But
gotcha. Well, it didn't look like he gave you that much of a stink about it.
No.
Just make sure we don't go that close to the table.
Yeah.
Like you're just way too close to the table there. I don't think we need. I mean, we're supposed to report in the reporting area. Do you normally get that close to the table? Or you just felt like on a layered play like that, you wanted to make sure they had it right?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of my film now at this point, and it is something that I did, and now I'm more conscious of it. I guess I'm just trying to find where's the happy medium. Is it close to the free throw line, extended up above the 3-point line there, that we want to get to as like a reporting area that's more comfortable, where we're close enough to the table and still far away enough from the coaches. I think that's where
happy medium you'll find it's on mostly every basketball court. It's the volleyball court. These lines here, this center rectangle, I think that's the reporting area. It's basically, 3-point line to 3-point line. And then this cutout, this center cutout. So anywhere in here, if you're coming from this end line, just enter this rectangle. Anywhere you want to enter it is great. But just don't get that close to the table, because again, you're gonna invite yourself for more conversations that you don't want to have unnecessarily too. Just because you're in the general just because you're in the neighborhood.
Yep.
That was a good play to learn from, though. That was some good things to look at.
Yep.
Let's look at 33-18. We got a pain tolerance play. Tell me what you thought of this one. Okay, we had a no-call crash there. I like the no call. What do you think? Do you think you should have had a whistle on that play?
No.
Why is that?
There's nothing illegal about it. I mean, offensive player went into defensive player who's already in position, went vertical, bang, bang play. Just keep playing.
Just not enough, right?
Yeah.
Oh, good spin.
Talked about that a little bit. Very controversial. Spin move.
The spin move is going to take a 5-piece podcast series to talk about. The spin move has a lot of people confused. I don't want to deep dive into it right now, because I think I need to just devote a whole episode on it.
Yeah, you could. It could be a few episodes, man. It has to be with like clips, like, because people can't visually like comprehend it. I think it's like you have to you have to visually comprehend it. I mean, I've had the arguments with many refs, and it's hard. to explain
Pedro, I got
without
news
seeing
for
the
you.
video.
I got news for you. Most all spins are travels.
Our travels, right?
They are.
Mhm.
They are, but we've allowed it into the game because it's a beautiful move. And again, I have so much backstory info on this. I was thinking of this exact question my first camp I went to in 2014. So it's
Yeah.
been on my mind. I don't think about it as much anymore because I just let it go because we don't
Mm.
call until
Yeah.
we have breaking news and we're able to broadcast to every official in America and let everyone know, guys and girls, this is actually a travel and we need to start calling it together. I'm not calling it until we have a kind of press conference about it.
Yeah, that's what one of the guys on my board is pushing for, of getting it as a point of emphasis this coming season.
It's tough to call something a travel that we haven't called a travel for years.
Right. Yep.
I mean, players are practicing it right now. It's going to be a news flash to them if we eliminate that from the game. I mean, it's not a travel in pro. I just want to clarify that.
Yeah. I mean, NCAA Division I don't think it is either. I mean, they're not definitely not calling.
Well, they're not calling it, but
Right.
it is 3 steps in my belief.
Yeah.
But I need to visually demonstrate it. What I'm talking about, I have a few moves that I'm going to demonstrate in mind. I'm going to show a few different options that are legal. Like I was taught a spin move where you had to use a drop step in order to avoid a travel. And that drop step allows you to spin free of sliding your pivot foot. But we've forgotten about the pivot foot and we've just picked it up and moved it somewhere else.
Yeah.
We'll
I'll have to
hit
send
on
you a
this.
clip. I'll send you a clip later of a girl. It's beautiful and it's hot, and she just executes it to the T. But it's travel. It's travel. Like I was like, it's travel. It's just.
But we're not. Did you call it a travel?
No. This is a clip that was on Instagram.
Yeah.
You know, it's another fellow ref. I think the one I sent you the other day to help her jump on the clubhouse.
Okay.
She's the one who sent it to me, and we had a discussion over it, and she wasn't having it. She's like, agree to disagree. I was like, it's okay. I can do that. And we talked about this before about missed travels, and like I'm picking up on that as I'm watching film, and I'm just like, and it's more of like I'm not certain, you know, like did I miss that travel?
Mhm.
You know. So is this something that I guess do you beat yourself up on and stuff like that? Like,
No, not over travels.
Okay. All right.
I mean, I try not to beat myself up over anything that I missed or I got wrong.
Right.
At this point in my career, I don't, it's just the incorrect call. And I'm going to have a million other opportunities to get it right.
Mhm.
You're going to see a million more plays. So let's stop thinking about a play from 3 weeks ago.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's definitely not the case. I mean, it's not something that lingers, but it's definitely something that if I questioned it, I'll go back and look at the film like that day just to be like, well, did I get it wrong? I have 41-12. 41-12. This is I think an offensive foul that I called. I'm surprised you didn't. I don't think you.
I have a note here.
Yeah, you do too. You have it too.
You know what? From my couch, I don't have great eyes on that play, so I'm not going to be too judgmental about the contact. I'm just kind of looking at how you handled it and how you presented at the table.
Yeah. So if on that play, again, you can't see it from the camera angle because it's hard. The defender gets there before, but does not absorb the contact.
All right, let me stop you there. Let's not even use that language. Gets there before. What are you going to replace that with?
Legal.
That's it.
Okay.
The defender establishes a legal guarding position.
Right.
Good.
So he establishes legal guarding position.
Oh, he's about to go down. First of all, he's got his hands up, which is a telltale sign of a flop. Right? It's unnatural. I'm not going to put my arms up and then just fall backwards like that. Well, I am going to do that purposely with intent.
Right.
So that's a good cue for that play. I mean, I definitely like block here. There's a couple context clues about that.
Yeah. Can we go back to my signal there on the block? What do you think of it? I don't think we talk about it.
It's a little sloppy.
Okay.
It's a little too it's just force. It's like It's a little too much force, like angry fists. I don't know. I'm just trying to explain it the best way I can. Like I'm a little nervous for your hips once your fists go up. But like we talked about the block, how I want you to do it. I want you to slow it down, foul, hold that, and then use a little bit momentum getting into your block. What I like to do is normally I take a step towards the play. So as I'm calling the block, it's boop, and then step. I step into it.
Yeah.
Boop, step in.
Yeah.
And then
That's how my
a little bit.
Yeah, that's how my buddy. I think I told you when we last talked on the pod. He's the one who got moved up to G League. He got a contract with the G League.
What's his name?
That's
Shout him
how.
out.
Oh Jesus, Julian Scott.
That's great. I remember Julian. Tell him I said hello.
I will. I tried to message him recently, and he just kind of gave me a quick hello. So I was like, he's probably busy, so I let him know. But yeah, I went to watch one of his games last year, and he actually a little bit more emphasis on that. Like I think he had a double like step forward and then like boom boom. And I was like, okay, interesting. But it was not something I was going to take away from his game. Like I was like, I don't know, I like it, but the way you did it, I can work with that. So
just got to slow down. Fist. And even when you go with the fist, it's not an immediate block. It's just still process. Your fist is buying you an extra few seconds or split seconds to think about the play a little bit more and then get your footwork set up for how you want to present your signal.
Okay.
You know how you kind of like your arms turn. Keep them straight.
Okay.
Keep them straight.
So it should be bang, boom.
There you go. Yeah.
Okay.
No wobbly, herky-jerky movement.
Yeah,
Arms
I think it's because that whole. I know I've heard you talk about it on the pod too. The how some people do like the open hand and then like this. So I think I've gotten rid of the open hand, but I haven't got rid of the whole. Open
okay,
thing.
that
So
makes sense. So you got a little hybrid thing going on. You're trying to eliminate that old muscle memory for your previous call or previous way you used to do it.
I never actually called it that way. Never ever put my hands on my hips like that. I've seen people do it. I just did it. I've always done what you see me doing, which we're going to work on now. Got it. But yeah, no. My point on the play is from the angle, it's hard to see it. But where I was on the baseline, the kid, yes, he absorbs the contact, but it's not to the torso. It's actually his leg. It was like he stuck out his leg as he was falling, which caused more of a block than any kind of charge at all. So that was my angle on that.
Let's take a look one more time.
Yeah.
Good positioning here. You're in a good spot. All right, little trot to the table now, hustle and lead, stop and pop. And you see how the way you presented your hand, it was a little forceful. It wasn't the fluid way we were doing it.
Right. But yeah, I don't know if you didn't catch on it, but one of my fellow, he's a coach, but he does ref on the side. And every time I go up to the table, I have this little leg kick. Watch. I don't do it all the time, but I do it often enough. There it is.
I didn't see it. What did I miss? It was subtle. It was a subtle little.
Yeah,
kick.
yeah. But
Oh yeah.
that little and I was doing it worse before, so I've progressively done it not as bad.
What's that? A little bachata step? What is that? What are you doing?
Yeah, I just getting. I don't know. It's just a stupid habit. It's getting out of it. It's getting out of the system.
Yeah, for sure. What else you want to look at?
4407. 4407. And I recently you were talking about this on the pod about illegal screens.
Yeah.
I've been trying to be better about it.
What did you think of that tip? Did that tip resonate to you? Yeah,
absolutely. Because I can go back on film and probably see where I might have called an illegal screen that probably there wasn't enough of illegality to it, and the defender didn't really, really get affected by it. So why call it?
It's an interesting thing to pick up. And the post was, let's look for the effort of the defender to fight through the screen, because that's going to lead to more obvious displacement. Sometimes when they give up and we kind of sense that it could be an illegal screen, but the defender gives up, the play dissolves.
Right.
You know, what'd you say, 4307?
44.
All right, 4407, you're in trail. What do you got? Talk to me.
Right here. I think that's what I'm looking at. That black kid that comes up and sets that screen. So it was a good no call is what it looks like right now. But in my notes, I'm questioning it. I was like, did I miss that? Because he kind of moves into it. But, defender doesn't seem to be really bothered by it. So it was probably good to not call it, but in my notes.
All right, I'm gonna chime in here. I don't think that's a good no call. I think that's an obvious no call.
Okay. All right.
It's just absolutely nothing. Yeah, he's a little moving, but you can't even tell there's not even really any contact too.
Right. Okay. 49-23. My notes here are that I should have been quicker to wave off the shot here. I think it was end of quarter type scenario.
49-23. Is that marked?
No, you didn't write it down. This is me.
Oh,
This is my notes.
What?
What'd you say?
I said 9% on your account on Zelda.
Yeah, I got little gamers here. The kids love video games. Because I think he was an and one situation. But as the ball goes in, as the ball takes flight, hits one of the bars on the backboard, then it goes in, and I wave it off. So I think I was critical of myself as far as should I have come in stronger on the wave off. My partner knew he didn't count it as well because I told him no, it hit one of the bars.
yeah, you should whistle. You should blow your whistle.
Okay.
So A1 goes up, block. Yeah, that's when you just kill it. Doo-doo!
Okay. It's hard with the hand whistle, and I don't know what you can hear on your end if I did or not. I believe it looks like I did, but I was more critical of myself as far as coming in, maybe with a more emphasis on my whistle and just.
It's an obvious play. Everybody sees that it hits the metal. We just need to be more official about it and put a whistle on it. Whistle, wave.
Okay.
Good to go.
Okay. You have 52-17. Walking through that. It's a wave off play. Remember, we are waving off a shot to simultaneously blow your whistle as well. Be thorough.
I want you to add a whistle there, and we only need one wave off. So let the play finish. Boom, boom, and then come shut it down.
Yeah.
Just one. But it's got to be well timed. If it's not timed correctly, then you're going to then you'll feel the need to do it again.
Right.
And that's a common theme with a lot of the times we're over signaling or doing it more than once. It's just because we didn't time it out correctly. And now we feel that need to go sell it because nobody kind of saw you the first time.
Yeah.
So let the buzzer sound and boom, boom. Kill it. What other questions do you have for me? Anything else I can answer for you?
I don't think so. I think I'm good. I know where to find you otherwise. So.
All right, yeah. We do constantly talk. Well, we did do one last week, right? Referee radio.
Yeah.
What do you like better, referee radio or the referee hotline?
So hotline resonates because of the fact it sounds like, hey, we're coming on, we're talking. It almost sounds like I don't want to say like a therapist or something.
No, but it is. There should be a phone number for a ref. You should have a help desk. I want to be the help desk. So yeah, I think we're going to change it to the referee hotline.
Yeah. Just because the Crown Refs is the radio. You know what I mean? We'll pop it into there to listen to content. So that's just my thoughts. Yeah, anytime. You know I'm here.
All right, bro. I got to run. I'm going to go to the gym now.
Nice. Go get it, man.
All right, bro. Thanks for everything. Talk to you soon.
No problem. Yeah, take care.
Thank you for listening to the Crown Refs Podcast. Serve the game.